Well, I went and did it again. Bought 7 movie tickets for a single day for 6 different movies. I saw one of them in 2 formats, so I can recommend whether you should see it in IMAX or 3D, assuming I recommend it. Keep watching for quick summaries and reviews of all 6 movies, ending with my clap rating of 1 to 5 claps for each, plus a special 5-clap throwback review for a movie in honor of Memorial Day. You're watching This Weekend at the Movies. Here's the latest in a series of movies about wars out amongst the stars, or something like that. I don't know, I never heard of it. Yeah, I can't keep that joke going very long. I would have had to been living under a rock on the planet of Tatooine or something like that. Of course, I'm talking about Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, directed by Jon Favreau. After years of his streaming series, The Mandalorian, often called Mando and played by Pedro Pascal, and his son and mentee, Grogu, better known as Baby Yoda, bring their act to the big screen. Chronologically, the events in this movie take place shortly after the events of Star Wars: The Return of the Jedi, which is the 6th episode in the Star Wars saga, but the 3rd film in the original series. You know what I mean. In this movie, Mando is taking jobs from a leader of the New Republic, played by Sigourney Weaver. New to the Star Wars universe, but of course a sci-fi legend in her own right. Mando is being sent to hunt down and bring in, either warm or cold as he puts it, rogue elements of the defeated Empire. He is soon sent to retrieve a captured Hutt by the name of Rhoda, voiced by the Bear's Jeremy Allen White. Rhoda happens to be the son of the infamous Jabba the Hutt, but he is currently being held prisoner and forced by an unscrupulous fight promoter to battle to the death against all manner of hideous and dangerous creatures. Of course, for Mando, this job turns out to be more than just a simple extraction. Things get very complicated and send him and Grogu on an interstellar adventure which carries many dangers, but gives each of them a chance to play hero. And I have to add that along the way, they meet a 4-armed food truck operator voiced by Martin Scorsese. Yes, that Martin Scorsese. Wild and pretty cool. Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu deliver the usual Star Wars mix of adventure, danger, heroism, and cuteness. And it's a lot of fun. I just wish that Mando had some of Luke Skywalker's earnestness, or Han Solo's sarcasm, or Princess Leia's determination, but the writing and voicing of the character is kind of bland. The film drags a bit after Mando is injured, and the whole movie could have been a little shorter. But those are relatively minor complaints compared to the overall entertainment value of this very worthy addition to the Star Wars universe. So, how many claps do I give Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu out of 5? 4 claps out of 5. And if you have the choice of whether to see it on IMAX or in 3D, I recommend 3D. I did enjoy the IMAX screen's large size, brightness, the enhanced sound, which sometimes shook my seat, but personally, I like the visual effect of 3D that allows me to feel like I'm right there in the action. Either way, go and see this movie in a theater as soon as you can. Or maybe at least wait until after the opening weekend crowds have had their shot at it. In the Grey, directed by British auteur Guy Ritchie, is a very well-named movie. As a voiceover from Isa Gonzalez's character tells us at the beginning of the film, she is a lawyer who operates in the gray. Insert lawyer joke here. She doesn't personally break laws, but she hires people that do, including a pair of special operators played by Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal. When the lawyer is hired by a banking executive played by Rosamund Pike to steal back a $1 billion fortune that a ruthless Latin American crime boss stole from the bank, she hires a team of lawyers and tech experts to pursue mostly legal means to put the squeeze on her mark, and a group of special operators who are very efficient, effective, and lethal to protect her as she angles for a face-to-face negotiation with her mark on his private island. In the Gray reminded me of Ocean's 11 in that they're both very clever heist films. But unlike Ocean's 11, where you see their intricate plan laid out in all its genius and detail and almost everything goes according to plan, within the Gray, we see laid out all of their contingency plans, their preparations for each, and how they handle things when their plans go awry, repeatedly, with serious consequences and a pretty large body count. In the Gray has a great cast. Its plotting is intricate and ingenious, and it's careful to help the audience keep up as the story unfolds. And the whole thing is just a lot of fun. I give In the Gray 5 claps out of 5. And although I've seen and enjoyed several of Guy Ritchie's films over the years, I think this one is my favorite. Go to the theater and see In the Gray as soon as you can. I Love Boosters is difficult to categorize in terms of genre. It's a comedy drama that's also a sci-fi adventure and social commentary. It follows a group of shoplifters or boosters led by Keke Palmer who steal clothes from stores and then resell them at a discount. Soon they set their sights on a self-important fashion maven played by Demi Moore who is trashing the group in the media for what they are doing. As the group tries to make more and more money by stealing and reselling clothes, we see Lakeith Stanfield in a recurring role as a low-rent model, plus Adam Devine, Jason Ritter, and an unrecognizable Don Cheadle in small but important and unusual roles. The plot really escalates when the boosters meet a young Chinese woman who has acquired a large handheld teleportation device, which can steal clothes much more efficiently than what the boosters were doing. But soon the group finds out that this device can do a lot more than move a large amount of clothes from point A to point B. If this all sounds weird, it is, and it gets weirder. Is what the girls do, quote, fashion-forward philanthropy, as one of the characters describes it, or just good old-fashioned self-centered thievery? You decide. And is the weirdness more creative and fun, or disturbing and off-putting? Questions that you might want to answer when deciding whether or not to see I Love Boosters. My answer is 2 claps out of 5. I did not love these boosters. See it, stream it, or skip it? I say skip it. Is God Is a drama that feels more like a horror film. The title refers to the mother of twins, whom one of the twins says is God because, quote, she created us. The twins are played by Kara Young and Mallory Johnson, and they are just now becoming reacquainted with their mother after childhood spent in foster homes. The reasons for all this are complicated. The mother, played by Vivica A. Fox, details for them abuse suffered at the hands of their father, abuse which left all 3 of them disfigured to varying degrees. The mother tells the girls that she wants them, for her dying wish, to make their father dead. Real dead. Well, the twins are conflicted, but they ultimately accept their mission, which sends them on a journey to find their father. And along the way, they meet several colorful characters who were also wronged by their father in the past, including one played by Janelle Monáe. As they are nearing confronting their father, played to evil perfection by Sterling K. Brown, they leave behind a trail of devastation of their own, mostly using a very unusual weapon. Is God Is asks some important questions about morality and the value of revenge, with the answers it suggests being somewhat disturbing depending on your point of view. The movie is effective in its storytelling, but it's difficult to watch and challenging to contemplate. I give Is God Is 3 claps out of 5. It's a good movie, but it's not easy. If this kind of movie and this cast appeal to you, maybe you don't have to run right out to the theater and see it, rather wait and stream it. And now on to the movies that bill themselves as horror movies. And the rain and thunder outside my window seems pretty appropriate for this section of reviews. Passengers feels like it's basically a haunted house movie on wheels. There's this demonic presence that stalks drivers on quiet country roads. He harasses them, scratches their cars, sometimes shows up in the passenger seat, and has been known to kill a driver or two. When a young couple in New York City gives away most of their possessions and decides on a life on the open road, they become the passengers' latest targets. First the woman, and then both of them experience the passengers' dangerous pranks and become terrified, even eventually resorting to a solution based on Roman Catholic tradition and iconography. Passenger starts with an interesting premise, but then doesn't seem to know what to do with it. If you take away the jump scares, there's really not much to this movie. It's more creepy than scary, and even the creepiness factor isn't that high. As the plot progresses, it starts to feel like the movie is flying by the seat of its pants and making things up as it goes, ending with a resolution that is laughably random and blandly formulaic. Passengers gets some points for creativity, but then quickly squanders them with poor plotting and even worse execution. Passenger doesn't deserve any more than 1 clap out of 5. Definitely skip it. Corporate Retreat is a horror movie with an original setting. The department heads of a tech company gather for their annual break from work / bonding experience in an isolated but beautiful home that looks like it's somewhere in the Hollywood Hills. But they go from generally not wanting to be there, except for the annoyingly upbeat HR manager who booked the location doing almost no research on it, to being desperate to leave in order to save their own lives. You see, it turns out that the retreat is being run by the company's founder and former head, who was ousted by the current group, those at the retreat. Using his words and 2 gun-toting female minions, he forces his former teammates to go through a series of challenges which involve various forms of self-harm, self-mutilation, and worse. He says he's not out for revenge, but it sure looks and feels like revenge to his captive audience. He says he's reached a level of spiritual enlightenment that he wants to help his former teammates to reach through these challenges. But instead of spiritual growth, all we witness is a lot of blood and screaming. Corporate Retreat is just the latest in the current trend of body horror films, a subgenre of horror that I personally find more disturbing than entertaining. getting through a movie like this feels more like an endurance test than a fun time at the movies. The premise is original and the situation is indeed horrifying, but all that is practically nullified by the pointless plot and offensive visuals. Corporate Retreat gets only 1 clap out of 5. Skip it. Hard pass on this one. But if you're in the mood for a new, creative, intense horror movie that's really done well, check out Obsession, which I reviewed in my last video. And now, last but not least, and in honor of Memorial Day, I would like to give you a retro reel review of a 5-clap war movie. One of the best war movies ever made, if not the best, in my opinion. We're talking about Steven Spielberg's 1998 classic, Saving Private Ryan. The movie opens with a harrowing sequence portraying the D-Day landings, which many of those who were there say was very accurate. And the movie then transitions to a journey into France by a squad of soldiers led by Tom Hanks. The war is still going on all around them. Their mission is one man: to find and take out of the fight the title character, who, it turns out, has recently lost all 3 of his brothers in action. Matt Damon plays Private Ryan. This is an all-star cast with a terrific group of actors, both in the core cast and doing cameos throughout the film. This journey, if you will, is an educational, an enlightening, and an emotional one as we improve our knowledge and understanding of what our troops went through on the Western Front in the closing days of World War II. There are many ways to honor the fallen on Memorial Day. As a movie fan, I just happen to think that a well-made war movie that is respectful to our service members is a pretty good way to do that. So if you've never seen Saving Private Ryan, you need to check it out. If you haven't seen it in a while, this might be the weekend to check it out again. You've been watching This Weekend at the Movies. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and check out our future videos of brand new movies in time for you to decide whether to see them opening weekend. My name is Dave McLean, and I thank you very much for your time and attention.